And whose team is this? Is this your team? Or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to the Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, Common Sense Parenting, Politically Correct World. I'm your host, Andy Carlson, at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine. I'm a father. I have no idea what I'm doing, but you and either their chiefy champ. So let's try and learn something together today. Website is dadmopod.com. If you want to tweet us, tweet at dadmopod or just use the hashtag Dad Mode to get all up in it. And this week's episode is presented by Keeps. And keep your hair today, hair tomorrow. Today, on Thursday, it was the 10-year anniversary of my dad passing away. And so July 26, 2008. And, the last year or so of his life had, soft tissue cancer, went through chemo, ended up losing a leg, that whole thing. So, yeah, not great. But the fact that it's been 10 years now, like a full decade, and it doesn't even seem like that long. It's pretty crazy. Just thinking about all of the life events that have happened in the past decade, which I would have loved to share with him, gotten his advice, just gotten his perspective on things. And I don't know, it's time is a mofo, isn't it? Because I was running through like what all had happened just in life. So got married. Fortunately, he did get to meet the girlfriend at the time that became the wife. So he got a little inkling on that. We had Margaret, and so he would have been a grandfather, and I think he would have been a hell of a grandpa. And buying a house and moving around and starting new businesses, getting involved in sports and all those things. It's a lot of life that happens in 10 years, where a lot happens, and also it just seems like it does go by so fast. Since we have our head down, we're grinding, we're working, we're getting things done, but it just really flows by. I mean, just putting in frame of reference for sports, because my dad and I were big sports fans. Went to Vikings Packers at the Dome every year. That was always our little thing. Went to baseball games. He really loved the Twins a lot more than I did, but it's neither here nor there. But I mean, just from a football perspective, so he died before the '08 season. So he saw 1 year of Adrian Peterson, and we know how long Adrian seemed to play. Like, he's on the fringes of the league now. And it was before he passed, before Brett Favre was a Viking, before the 09 championship game, before Zimmer, before Teddy had come and gone, all these various items. And it's just, time does just keep on keeping on, doesn't it? And I like to think, since he was such a big Vikings fan, the fact that, for Purple for the Win, we started up the show, we're sort of quasi-legit, and just being in the lexicon of, the local sports talk, like, I think he would have liked that. Like, I don't think he would have known how to download a podcast, or even yeah, like the iPhones were in their infancy when he died too. It's like, he'd be like, "Why do you have a miniature computer in your pocket right next to your I think it would have blown him away. But also just thinking of like moments with Margaret, because even though she's just over 3 now, like all of the various things of being born, first words, babbling, crawling, scooting, first solid food, which was an avocado. It's pretty common, I guess. Started walking, started talking, potty training, all of those things, learning to ride a bike, learning Chinese. It's all of these things that I am so proud of as a father. I mean, that just has to be really ramped up when you're a grandfather, right? Because, yeah, grandparents, I've been told that being a grandparent is just phenomenal. Like, you get to share in all the experiences of a kid growing up, except you don't have, like, the nuts and bolts of things. Like, you're not in the back making the sausage. You're not there when the kid is freaking out, doesn't want to take a bath, ends up taking a dump in the tub, and you have to clean that up. Great. Now, grandparent just like, deuces, I'm out. Yeah, pun intended on the deuces thing. But, yeah, it's Margaret's I've been starting to ask some questions about, she sees photos of my dad around. She starts asking, who that is, and it's like, oh, that's Dad's dad. Also, really cute thing is, so Margaret can recognize herself when she was a baby. I think that's probably pretty common, right? So when we're pointing at pictures, like, who's that? And she's like, that's baby Margaret, right? And there's a great picture of me and my dad when I came over, being adopted on like the 17-hour flight from South Korea. What's up? And I basically look like Margaret when she was a kid. So when we showed her that picture and we're like, Margaret, who's that? And she's like, it's baby Margaret, even though it's a picture of me, because Margaret looks quite Asian, and also back in the day, I was a little bit pastier, and then of course we both had short hair, and then so I could see it. I can absolutely see what she was going after there, but I don't know, like I don't really dwell on it too much, but yeah, it is just a bummer, just I know a lot of parents still have their dad and their parents around, and they can lean on them for like logistical things like babysitting and all the stuff like that. But I mean, just putting that aside, like, yes, it would be nice to have free babysitting, but I mean, just talking, just getting their perspective on things, getting some wisdom, having a question of something that they've worked through before and getting that answered. I don't know. It's kind of a bummer. Like, I would have loved to talk politics with my dad. Like, he was relatively apolitical, but I think probably like most Minnesotans, even like rural Minnesotans, was more like center left. I guess I just want to know what he would have thought about Trump. Because when he passed, he would still be like the Celebrity Apprentice guy. You mean the guy on all those crappy real estate buildings? Yeah, the guy with all the crappy golf courses. Yeah, that guy. It would have been like the Back to the Future moment. It's like, who's the president? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor? Yeah, just like the really stupid time travel joke thingies. But I don't know. Like, I guess we are very fortunate. Like, Margaret has, a great set of grandparents in the wife's parents. Couldn't have asked for better in-laws. I know that the whole, trope is like having a bad mother-in-law, except have great mother-in-law, have great father-in-law, and they're just awesome with Margaret. Margaret's actually going camping this weekend. I'm down here working on some Vikings training camp stuff, but yeah, the wife and the kid, they're going like legit camping up in Alexandria. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Like, Margaret is not really the most well, take that back. She is getting better at being like outdoorsy, but she very much likes princesses and dolls and not so much about like bugs and worms and fish guts and all that stuff. But who knows? Maybe this will be the turning point. Maybe she'll do the hokey pokey and she'll turn herself around. Yeah, something like that. But also, if you want some turning around on that lettuce on top of your head, because just me personally, I noticed one day that the widow peaks are starting to creep up a little bit, and I want to hang on to the hair that I got because it is glorious. It is luscious. So that's where my friend Keeps comes in, because Keeps is the easiest way to keep your hair, son, because they offer the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products, clinically proven to keep the hair that you got. You can sign up in less than 5 minutes, and it costs you less than it costs between $10 to $35 a month. It's entirely online. So easy to get started. You just take a couple of photos, upload them, and a licensed doctor remotely reviews your information, gives you the right prescription, all without ever leaving your couch. Within 2 to 3 days, a 3-month supply of your treatment arrives perfectly packaged at your door. And since we take care of you here at the Dad Mode Podcast, here's what you do. You get your first month of treatment for free. Go to keeps.com/dadmode. That's KEEPS.com/dadmode for a free month of treatment at keeps.com/dadmode. Keeps. Hair today, hair tomorrow. So, yeah, Margaret will pretty much enjoy this this camping trip. And the wife's dad is, he likes fishing, he likes the boat, he likes getting outside, likes every summer they like getting up to Alexandria, getting up to the lake. So having that element in Margaret's life, I'm sure will be nice. I'm trying to think what my dad would have done with her and potential future grandkids, because he was a kind of quiet guy. He really loved reading books, but I don't know, just like grilling, hanging out, playing some catch in the backyard. Yeah, all those, like typical dad things. Like, I'm trying to think, because hobby wise, he wasn't a golfer. I liked work in the garden a little bit. That's about it. I don't know, but the great thing that Margaret's got going on now is that she's learning just new words and new phrases all the time, and a lot of it is from childcare. Some of it's from Super Y, I'm sure. Some of it's probably from us. But her new thing is, holy cow. I don't know where she got it from. I'm sure she heard something on TV or some other kids, but she says it like Harry Carey, like the longtime Cubs radio announcer. Holy cow. It's just great because, like example, we're having tacos. And then she looks at her mom. She's like, is that your taco? That is a big taco. Holy cow. and just things like that. And it's we're currently doing a lot of big and little things where she'll come up and is like, Daddy, you got big legs. Margaret, I got little legs. Right? And she... funny story. So she was at childcare, and she was doing like the big and little thing, where it's like, you got big eyes, Margaret's got little eyes. You got big hands, Margaret's got little hands. Just typical adult little kid stuff. And then the childcare worker was telling me this, she's just laughing. She's like, Margaret, I got a little butt. Teacher, you got a big butt. And we're lucky that she's awesome, because in the wrong context, that could be taken the wrong way. But I mean, it's just funny. I mean, it's just good. And I don't know, like, I know that every parent is predisposed to think that their kid is the cutest, but mine's the cutest. I mean, come on. Yeah. And, we're working on some various things, like potty training is pretty much a slam dunk. We're to the point where she basically goes on her own, just because we got the big potty inset, and also the little potty, from IKEA, the travel pot, I guess, which is basically just like a contoured chamber pot. And I've got a timer set, so I check on her every 20 minutes, and it's like, Margaret, do you have to go potty? Do you? Mm-hmm. Sometimes she'll lie. Sometimes she's pretty straightforward. But also now she'll come up to you and be like, Mommy, Daddy, I gotta go potty. And then we tell her, all right, go do your thing. So she's able to pull down the shorts, pull down the undies, pull down the trousers, do her thing, and then come to us and get cleaned up, and then she pulls up everything else. So I think we're good. And also, I know that some parents, some kids, they struggle with going number 2 in the potty, but Margaret, no. It's quite easy. we'll put it that way. So it's things are coming together. Like Margaret does preschool in the fall. We're excited to see what that's going to be. Although preschool times, like I get it. Like kids aren't going to have huge attention spans, especially when they're young. And also, there's nap times. There's potty issues at times with some of these kids, but I mean, we're lucky that I have a very flexible work schedule, so I'm able to drop her off and pick her up. But the typical preschool is like Wednesday and Friday from 9:45 to 11:17, right? And if you're not one of those lucky parents who can afford daily childcare, or very, very fortunate enough to have grandparents or an older family member around that can watch the kids during the day, or one of you is a stay-at-home parent, like how are we going to make that? How is that going to work? So if you're a single working parent with 3 kids, how are you going to make that 9:45 to 11:17 work? I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, fortunate enough that we can work around that. And I think Margaret's going to have a great time. She loves going to childcare. She loves interacting with kids. I know that it's a lot of parents' anxiety that the other kid doesn't socialize well or is slow to make friends, but very, very fortunate that Margaret does not seem to have that problem at all. She's a bit of a social butterfly, and unlike her dad, which is good. But I mean, things are going well, and again, just wish that my dad was here to see it. Would have been nice for Margaret to have another grandpa, but we don't always get dealt a great hand, but we just got to play it out, right? It's just weird. So he passed away when I was 23. I'm 33 now, and a lot of life in between those two ages, but yeah. That's it for today. Tell a friend, spread the word. Show's available on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Follow the show on Twitter at DadMoPod. Myself at Andy Carlson Show. And the website is dadmopod.com. But until next time, be a man, be a father, go Dad Mode, and we'll check you later.
Think the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go Dad Mode. The music is created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/Deeb.